Ta-da! It stands on its own 2 feet. Well, it's 4 casters. There's, remember the 4 wheels that we put on the bottom there. And I gotta say, man, looks pretty good. Pretty happy with how this is turning out. This is a pretty solid build. I was pretty confident that it wasn't gonna like flex or bend around or anything. There's a lot of screws and a bit of glue, but pulling it off the sawhorses, and scared that I would hold on to something too tight, and being MDF, I had no idea how it was going to react, but it was solid, just kerplunk right back on its butt, Now, I have noticed already, and a lot of this is because it's on wheels, but it shifts around. The whole unit moves it on its own, together in one piece, but it does rock a little bit on the casters, and that's just how it works, especially on wheels. I imagine what 4 players are going to have beating this thing up, but you know what? So be it. That's what it's for. We're probably going to get pretty aggressive with it. Maybe I need to secure it to the floor. Who knows? Who knows what I got to do? But overall, I'm just really happy about this. And something that it is kind of interesting, especially comparing to the old original arcades that I kind of modeled this after. It's actually pretty low profile, right? I think it's like 16.5 inches wide on the base, not from there to there, but from, there to there. And that's actually really low profile compared to the old arcades, which makes sense because the old ones had these big ass TVs, pretty much, those big glass CRT TVs that weighed like 300 pounds. They had to hold a lot of weight, and there's just a lot of hardware in them. But the TV that I'm putting in there, it's virtually nothing. Actually, come here, look at this. This is the display. This one was actually donated to me. Just amazing. Amazing donate. It was very friendly people. And look, I'm just like with my 2 fingers, just picking this thing up, and it's 32-inch TV, low element, 720p, next to nothing. Maybe like 15, 20 pounds, maybe at most. It's really light. So 720p element, 32-inch, more than enough. And if we look in here, I have these lines here. These about 3/4 inches in. And I've got these little dudes. Hold on, let me see if I can find my little dudes. Yeah, here's my little dudes. All right, so got my little dudes. I'm gonna stick one there. And I'll do the same thing on the other side over there. Just boink. And so how this is gonna work is, all right, I need to go back to this side because I'm right-handed. Okay. So how this is going to work is I'm going to bring the TV in through the back into here, and I'm going to butt it up against this. So it'll be 3/4 inch plus 5/8 or so, right? Yeah. I'll butt it up against the back of that. And then there's actually another board that I have over here that I'm going to actually mount the TV to, the back of the TV, because the back of the TV has this 4-point VESA mount set up, like most TVs have, where you can mount it to like a mounting plate so you can mount it to the wall. I'm not going to buy a mount. It just seems kind of like a waste of money for this. So I made a board that would fit across the back at just the right angle. See? So, it'll be angled at just the right angle to match the lines that I've drawn there. I even labeled it as such, so you know it's true, right? In case you didn't believe me. In each of these corners, bam, bam, boom. Each of those 4 quarters, I'm going to put just holes for bolts. And I'm going to bolt the TV onto the face of this, and then this will have little L-shaped brackets to secure it to the sides. And then if I ever need to replace the TV, all I have to do is just take it off the mount and stick a new one on. It's pretty easy. The front of this, though, and this is going to be where things get a little weird. The TV itself, let's see if I can back up enough here to show, will have a little bit of room, a little openness at the top, and a little bit more at the bottom. I'm going to shift it more towards the top, like more up here than down here. I'll have more dead space down here. But the front of these little brackets, and I'll probably just glue there, I'm going to put like, I don't know, maybe a magnet or something. And I'm going to have the whole front face of this, that whole front screen of the TV will be a big plexiglass window. And I'll have it masked off and painted around the outside edge of the TV so that you can only see the screen. But I'll have like this cool, I don't know, little mammoth logo or something, like, you know, like in the dark of it. I don't know. I'm just brainstorming, but it'll be there. Same kind of plexiglass that I'll put up in here with that light in the back, like I explained. I'll put that light about across here with the plexiglass right in front. You know, like plastic or some kind of, I don't know. I'll find it. So I know I promised that I was going to kick it up on my feet, its feet, and I was going to start putting electronics in, but I forgot that I'm going to need to paint this. Actually, I really want to paint it. And I'm going to do, I've got a setup for paint that I'm going to do. I might do like it'll be black. Most arcade cabinets are done in black. I think it'll look really good. At the very least, like for a base coat, if I put vinyl on the sides, it'll be just fine. It'll blend well. But I was poking around online. It kind of brings me to this. I did add this right here. It's a focus. All right, so there's a T-mold that goes in this. It just it's like a T-mold. It's like this curved plastic thing that'll go over the edge here, and it's 5/8 wide because this is 5/8 thick. And there's like a little notch that you stick in there, and you tap it in with a mallet. And all the arcades have them. It's actually pretty common with arcades. Probably gonna have to sand these a little more rounded just so it doesn't, because sharp corners with the plastic T-molding is gonna be a little more difficult. But yeah, I'll cut those. I'll sand those down, round them off. But I found some online that were chrome, and I thought, man, that looks sharp. I'm also gonna add it to the front of the case for the controls too. You know, I'll add that. So there'll be crown molding that goes all the way around. It actually starts all the way at the back, at the bottom, goes all the way up, across here, all the way down, down. And I kind of stopped it here because really there's going to be the control case that's going to hit and butt up against there. I'm going to have it hinged on the very front here, so it'll just kind of sit flat, and then if I need to get in it, I can rock it back. And it's like that on both sides. But look at there. I know, right? I know. I could just like feel your pain. It's there's a story behind that, and in fact, if you've been following my Instagram, my personal Instagram at Potbelly Mammoth, you can kind of see the results of it. But you do this work, you do this with a router is what it is. It's just this big, here, I actually have it over here somewhere. Where'd I put it? Where's my dingus? Okay. So what you have is this router. All right. And this one's a big boy. They got them in different sizes. And what it is you set that base on the top of it, on your piece, on your shape or whatever, and you go around the edge of it. In this case, I had that blade. It actually cut a bit deeper than I expected. I didn't really want it to go as deep as it did, but it's still okay. And I have it set up to cut around the center of the board. So you have it, and then you just go around the edge of your shape. You know, you just like that. You got that bit there. There's actually a handful of different sizes that I ended up buying. But this was a Wen router that it was going really well, actually. I never used one of these before. In fact, full discretion, I kind of wish that I had done that step before I started putting all the pieces together. So I foresee future builds doing more of these. I already want to do more. But like next time, when these pieces are, the sides are just cut out and are together, I'm just gonna do the routing right then. It's just easier. I had no problems going around. I kind of set it on the side and it was still laying on its side. So I set it there and went all the way around. Now, as you can imagine, when I went all the way around, these guys would be in the way. So I had to actually take these screws out as I went around and then put them back in when I finished. So I couldn't do it all in one run. I had to basically take all these screws off on the front before I could do all that front. And then I put those back in and then took these off on the back and went all the way around. So, I mean, it wasn't that much of a hassle and it all went back together just fine. Thankfully, the design and just my plan for how stable this was gonna be worked out. But it's a little nerve-wracking, I'm not gonna lie. So ultimately, it could have been a lot worse. Not really sure what, I think that was the bolt, like the restraining bolt. Maybe I got a little too crazy with it, but anyway, that's fine. I'll sand that out. That's cool. It'll get covered up anyways. But overall, like learning it while I did it and it still stayed together, pretty cool. However, there was a lesson to be learned right there. And I was, maybe I was just getting a little too cocky. Maybe I just, found my stride. Everything was working out awesome. Just knocking it out. And then I remember this was laying on its side. So it was pretty much face level with me. This was like top. And I don't know if you remember in episode 2 or 3 or whatever, whenever it was still on its side, it was like face level with me. So, as I was going around, I went off the back, came up and around the top, feeling pretty good, had all this done, just knocked all this out in one stride, and then I made the mistake of pivoting and not turning the direction that the sawdust was coming off of these. And from here all the way down to here, nothing but just a solid like geyser of just MDF dirt and sawdust and chips and pieces just kicking into my face, just caking me, my chest. I mean, just heckin' wasted by sawdust. I couldn't see, I couldn't breathe. It was all caked up in my mouth and my teeth. I just kept going because I didn't want to ruin it. And then by the time I got to the very end, I was like, screw it, we're done. And I pulled away, and yeah, that was the last hurrah. My last second, my last little, inch and a half maybe I was so close to finishing it. And I mean, I was just covered. And in fact, on my personal Instagram, there's a picture of the aftermath. And that was actually a little while after it happened. But so with that in mind, I mean, this is no big deal. Like, I mean, it's unfortunate and I'm disappointed. I mean, but there's going to be trim that covers over it. Actually, it'll probably stop before that because there will be a case that stops, that'll bump up against it. So I might not even have it on there. I might stop it like here. So it won't really be relied on for anything. But it's also going to have like a case that's covered. So it'll be covered up. And then if I really had to, I could stick some putty in there and some wood filler, and I can fill that in. It's fine. It's a scar of my mistake. I should have known better. Like I wasn't wearing a mask. And with MDF, and I'll explain more in detail what MDF actually is and why it's important. I should have been wearing a mask. I mean, you can see here. I mean, that's a freaking mess, like it's just, the shit gets everywhere. Like it's, and I mean, and as it should. I mean, it's woodworking, whatever. But the thing is about MDF is that it's short for medium density fiberboard, I think. So it's not even really wood. It's made of wood byproduct. It's essentially sawdust packed together with like a glue or a resin with immense amount of pressure and heat to make a board. Like, so technically, I mean, this is just packed sawdust. It's not, so it's not even like sawdust there is a byproduct of that. It turns out that this is nothing more than that, just liberated. I don't know, like is that the word for it? And it just gets everywhere. You can't think about like the chemicals and the resin and the binding elements, what components they put in the resin that binds it. I actually watched a YouTube video where somebody had mentioned that MDF is known to cause cancer somehow. I mean, everything does, right? But it's like, awesome, thank you. And here I am, like, with half a pound of sawdust, you know, MDF in my face and my sinuses. I'm still coughing shit up. Like, I learned that lesson hard. So please take my advice. When you're cutting this stuff, wear a damn face mask. Wear your eye protection. I always wear my eye protection, but thankfully I was wearing it there. But I mean, I still taste it, you know, in my sinuses and everything. I still smell, I don't know, it's weird. It's like this funk that's like floating in my head. It was bad, but it was my fault because not only did I not pay attention to where the geyser of sawdust was going, I didn't have a mask on, which everybody has a mask now, right? You should, but you should have one for in here at least. It's just awful. But then on top of all that, like, you know, I'm wearing it. It's itchy. It's really uncomfortable. I should have worn my mask, but it turns out actually inside the case that came with the router that I used is this little dude. And it only has one job, and that's to redirect the geyser of sawdust elsewhere. At least out of my face, or at least out of where I expected my face to go, to be. And I mean, I think people connect those to hose lines that go into vacuum systems that launch it outside or collect it, and then so they can, I don't know, recycle it to make more MDF, you know, for idiots like me to choke on. But yeah, I walked upstairs and I felt like I felt like you know, like I don't know. It's like I just got like hit with an avalanche of sawdust. Like I just got bulldozed over. You know, it's just like out of Ghostbusters. I walk in there like I just got slimed. Like I got dusted. It was bad. But no, that's my PSA moment right there. Was hey, lesson learned. Next time, I'll do this first, which will be more waist level at the very least, and then but I'll have to be more prepared with the protection. But hey, good news, it's standing. Today, I figured I need to clean this shit up. I know I promised that I was going to do the electronics, but I need to paint it first. So before I paint it, I need to get all this collected and swept up and organized and everything, so I have plenty of room for painting, which I think I have my paint gun down here. Yeah, here it is. And that's not all of it. Whoop, there goes my speakers. Anyways, this is this little dude that we got online. It was actually pretty cool. And you can find these anywhere. They're not too expensive, like 30 or 40 bucks. All the hardware is in the other room, but this is what I'll get another one of these and I'll mix it up with like some, I don't know, maybe some wood glue and paint mix. That Abs Del Fuego fellow that I talked to you about before, that's something that he does. It was pretty good advice. It kind of creates this like high gloss textured black. I think it looks really cool. And I don't know, it was a cool idea. So I might play around with that. But my next step really is to create this panel here, right here. That is going to be a hinged door. It'll be hinged on the right side, so it'll open and close for access. And then on the back here, like I said, I was probably going to stop like around here and do that down. And then I have this long piano hinge that I'm going to do, and hopefully turn that into a door as well. It'll be really handy. I can just open and close it using this as like a bracket to not butt it up against, maybe do magnets or something. So today it's pretty light project for today, but but other than cleaning, I need to clean badly to get ready for painting. And then I'll probably do the chrome trim is what I'm kind of leaning towards now. And then I'll do maybe some vinyl work with the actual Mammoth Press logo like put mammoth like at the bottom there, you know, huge, you know, about halfway up. Leave it black and orange and chrome. I think it'll look pretty sharp. It'll just look classy and neat. I think that'll be pretty good. But like I said, I foresee making a few of these. If not actually making these for a living, I think that'd be pretty neat too. So I'll have plenty of time and plenty of options of like what different kind of art setups I can use. In fact, I'm actually going to do an episode up in the office upstairs. I got to time it whenever the wife isn't working because she does, you know, real work, like real adult stuff with meetings with people. So I'm going to get with her and figure out a time where I can just do an episode of me. And this will be like the high production one. Like I won't be using my phone in the garage like I am. But hey, look, I don't know if you can see this. I have a microphone. Isn't that neat? I'm using a microphone this time. I've had this thing for a while. I forgot about it. But upstairs, I've got like 3 monitors and a drawing monitor, and I've got, you know, like high range, you know, microphones, and you know, that's the stuff that's the production value that you know, that means something. That's the stuff that's gonna. I got animations, and I'll do actual video editing, and that's probably where I'm gonna end up taking all of these videos and putting them together in one video and making them look cool and everything. But for the time being, I just wanted to get the content out there, just get this process down and have it documented. And people have been really responsive. I really appreciate that. I've had some really cool conversations, some good advice. And apparently, I do this once, and I'm considered a master. So I get a lot of people like asking me big questions, and oddly enough, I can answer them. So if you have any questions, please hit me up. I apparently know what I'm doing, I guess, now. So, but you know, there's always something to learn, but I'll try and get this caught up to where we can start painting, and then I'll do an episode on that as well. So again, thank you. You're awesome.